everybody. Welcome back to Following the Call, Living the Sermon on the Mount Together. We are on chapter 18, and I'm going to kick us off with the passage from Matthew chapter 5, verse 27 through 30. You have heard that it was said, you shall not commit adultery. But I tell you that anyone who looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery with her in his heart. If your right eye causes you to stumble, gouge it out and throw it away. It is better for you to lose one part of your body than for your whole body to be thrown into hell. And if your right hand causes you to stumble, cut it off and throw it away. It is better for you to lose one part of your body than for your whole body to go into hell. So, a very serious verse, and in reading this chapter, it's a really good reflection on a focus on a goal rather than to focus on the natural temptations and issues that arise in life. And I thought that the first section of this chapter was particularly helpful in understanding how to distinguish the fact that sheer willpower, or mere willpower for that matter, is not enough to help somebody navigate Pilgrim's Progress, if you will, and how the longings of our heart has to be focused on Jesus, on Christ. Mm-hmm. But what did you get out of this chapter?
Yeah, so I mean, this section of the Sermon on the Mount, the previous chapter, we talked about anger, so murder. Mm-hmm. So clarifying that the Ten Commandments says, do not murder, and Jesus says, well, even what's in your heart that's where it starts, right? And similarly here, he's talking about the seventh commandment to not commit adultery, but Jesus says, let's get to the root of this. I don't think it's so much an intensifying of the prohibition, but what it is pointing to the fact that if we don't address things at the level of the heart, they will germinate. And what Jesus is saying really is you need to take radical measures.
Yes.
You need to take radical measures to not do things that are injurious to your eternal soul. And I like to look at this like as less of a prohibition, but as more a way of focusing on, the abundant life that we're meant to have, right?
Yes.
I mean, all you have to do is in media, film, fiction, or people in real life, you realize at the root of so much pain in people's lives is broken relationships.
Yes.
And nobody wants that, right? Mm-hmm. We want to have actually a joyful life together with people that we love. And so I think that's what this points me to the most. And I think, the second part of the chapter by Francis Chan, it kind of like looks at it in a kind of like a negative light, which I don't find helpful at all.
And even just like referencing tunnel vision, to me, that's not necessarily the goal.
Right. Right. No, I mean, I think we have to keep in mind what Jesus wants for us. He wants us to be like him. We are, image bearers of God, and he's just helping us with that. Mm-hmm. There's this great quote it's not in this chapter, but it's from Heinrich Arnold, who writes the first part of this. But I've thought about it a lot, and it says something to the effect of, none of us really knows the great potential that's in our hearts, right? Mm. For great experiences. Like, we have actually undreamed of possibilities for experiencing things, but we're too often satisfied with what we have, with eating and drinking and small stuff. And this would fall into that category. But, there are great things in store for us if we ask for them and stay focused on them. So,
Yeah, and I think along with that, a lot of these issues seem to like crop up or multiply when we are in a state of despair. And I think, as it's pointed out at the beginning, we must believe that Jesus really is faithful to us, and he himself, the most perfect person to ever walk the planet, struggled with temptation and despair. And so human weakness is just always going to be part of our life, but to not allow the despair to completely overtake us.
Yeah.
And that it's not just a wonderful ideal, but it is a practical goal. And I think that's what Francis Chan is also directing us towards. There can be practical measures, and certainly those are helpful, but it's not about fleeing. It's about, like you said, focusing on that abundant life in Christ.
And as Heinrich Arnold points out, our fight against evil is a victorious one.
Yes.
So the victory is already won.
That is so encouraging.
Let's keep going.
Yes.
So, great stuff. Thanks for watching. Got anything else?
No, I think that's a wrap.
Okay. See you next week.